S- on diversity issue you're saying. So yeah, so yeah, the thing is worth talking about. So some countries think of diversity as a value worth pursuing. I would disagree with it. There is absolutely nothing in diversity which gives a positive effect of worth pursuing. It's a intrinsic value which gives a value in a sense, like for example diversity, and here I'm not talking about intellectual diversity. Intellectual diversity may sometimes be helpful in disagreements, debates, and intellectual discussions, and thereby other things as well. But that is different. What and Intellectual diversities many times don't create tensions what non-intellectual diversities, such as diversities in terms of identities of religion, caste, color, race, sex, and so on and so forth, creates. Now, uh, okay, so that is one thing. Now, non-intellectual identities usually don't have any objective reasons, first of all. So if you have a different religion, if there are people of different religions coexisting together, that doesn't add anything to your intellectual diversity, because the basis of religion is not intellect itself; it's faith. It's not purely practical. It's not purely reasoning, but a faith plus perhaps a bit of reason, or totally faith, and so on. Yeah, that is with regard to religion. And when we have when we have things which with regard to these religions and other identities, it's sure that there would be conflicts of opinion, conflicts not just of opinion, conflicts of violence, and so on and so forth, other kinds of dangerous extremes. It could go to other kinds of dangerous extremes. So definitely, what is worth looking in diversity is that if you are a country which is diverse as well as peaceful, where all these diverse elements are living peacefully and cohabiting, and are living happily, then that's a thing worth appreciating, because it's usually not the case. So for example, if in a country where people of different religion coexist together peacefully, that should be appreciated. uh, that should be appreciated, because it's not a thing that usually happens. Usually one religion wants to people of one religion are hate other religion, and back and forth it goes. Having said that, let's say if there is a country which is homogeneous in nature, if we forget about the distinctions of right and other things, for example right to freedom of religion, there is no rational basis why countries should deliberately call people from other religions to let's say to this country where there is a homogeneous religion in the from the start. There is absolutely no reason. If it is not adding to your economy, if it's not adding to your country development of your country, economic development of your country, there is absolutely no reason why per se you have to bring diversity. So some states in some, I don't know, some countries in some universities, etc., think okay they are not diverse, so because they if they are all white, or they are all black, or they are all Asians, or something like that, and so therefore they create specific quotas for different groups, so as to create a diversity. That is absolutely, I mean, especially calling people from different countries. One of my relative had an opportunity to visit a university in America, and the only reason why he was getting an opportunity to study and visit a university in America and study there was simply because the university felt that all the students in that university were white students, and so there was no diversity as such. which is kind of ridiculous. You don't have to create, if other countries, are proud of their diversity, that's simply because they know that diversity create tensions, and in spite of those tensions they are existing as a one country. It doesn't mean that you don't have diversity, therefore you should bring a diversity, from other countries to your country for the sake of diversity itself and not for any other thing. So for example, if you are talking about, let's say, economic development, if bringing people from a different country following a different religion, speaking a different language would bring a lot of economic development, then you could definitely say that yes, we would try to bring this in. But if it doesn't give you anything, if it doesn't give you economic development, if it doesn't give you other stuffs, then there is no reason why, for the sake of diversity, you have to bring these people in. That is totally ridiculous. So when we talk about diversity, we need to be very clear what we are proud of. uh, we are not proud of diversity because of the diversity per se, because that is not, if that is not something worth achieving. That is not something, a country should, in my opinion, do. That if it's a homogeneous country, if it speaks just one language, if it's, has just one religion, I'm not talking about the discrimination of, let's say, um, of right to religion and so on and so forth. I'm not talking about that. But it is, for the sake of bringing diversity, you don't have to bring people from other countries to your country for the sake of bringing diversity. For the sake of business, for the sake of economic development, for the sake of adding to your human capital or economic capital, etc., all those things are okay. It's fine, it's a reasonable argument. But just for the sake of bringing diversity, there's absolutely no it doesn't make any sense. uh, what countries are to be proud of is that they are diverse, and yet they are not becoming homogeneous, because there are far less tensions when you are homogeneous. There are more tensions when you are diverse. Even if you are diverse, you are a country which is preserving that diversity, let's say, in its least. Or even if it's not preserving diversity, it's not creating tensions in the society. Let's say the reason for preserving diversity is simply because, in my opinion, the country doesn't have an obligation to preserve diversity. Let's say, for example, if people um, don't, they are not speaking one particular language, it's almost going to be extinct. In my opinion, it's not the function of the state to take the ambit of nation and to preserve that language, and to tell people to say that language and so on and so forth. Because if it's people's choice what to say, what not to say, there are different organizations for making sure that the language doesn't go extinct or something of that sort. But there is absolutely no reason why state should do it. Oh, I mean, let's forget about language. Come to the matters of religion. Let's say if one religion is becoming very popular, and people are freely consenting to follow that religion. The state should not say, okay, what about this religion? This is becoming a minority at a very large end. We should do something that people should not voluntarily convert to this particular religion which is becoming popular, or this religion should be preserved. Anyway, if it is not preserved, in the sense, if it's forceful conversion or any other kind of forceful conversion, then definitely it's a thing of religious liberty and not even diversity. But um, if it's only for the sake of diversity that you are preserving that religion, and not allowing people to convert to the religion which they want, it's actually wrong. Because you should give freedom to whatever they want to do. So what I'm trying to say is that diversity per se has no no value that makes it to be that a non-diverse or homogeneous country should accept that diversity. Absolutely not. And not just a country, anything for that matter. It's a thing to be proud of if you are a diverse only if you find that diversity creates tensions, and in spite of those probable tensions or possible tensions, you are not having, you are living peacefully, and are not having tensions, because diversities, especially those which are not intellectual in nature, which cannot be debated, and which are not based on reason, usually end up creating tensions. Like, once, I don't know which person said this, but if if you believe in something which I don't believe, and you want that, irrespective of anything, you are going to stick to your belief, and I believe that irrespective of anything, I am going to stick to my belief. It's just a matter of time before your descendants and my descendants would kill each other. So that is basically how dangerous diversity is. It creates probable tension. If you are a country which is peaceful in spite of diversity, that is worth appreciating. But that doesn't mean, if you are a country which is not having diversity, there is nothing to be worried of, there is nothing to be feeling inferior to a country which has diversity. You just don't have to tackle with that problem, that's it. There is no intrinsic value in having diversity.